Every great NFL offense needs a Mr. Reliable. It could be a big downhill running back that pounds the ball inside and sets up easy third downs. It could be that crafty veteran tight end that always seems to find himself open and make a play just when his quarterback needs him the most. Or in the Ravens' case, it could even be a kicker that no matter what, is money anywhere inside of 55 yards. Michael Thomas is Mr. Reliable for the New Orleans Saints, and even more impressively, he took over that role right away in his rookie season. They already had big playmakers in Brandin Cooks and on occasion Willie Snead, but after the decline and eventual release of Marcus Colston, they no longer had that one receiver that Drew Brees could look to in any situation to keep the offense on schedule. You know, the kind of guy that if you're backed up on 1st and 15 due to a penalty, he can get you 10 yards right back and keep you ahead of the chains and basically rescue the drive. Or the kind of guy that when you get to the red zone, you can throw it up to him and know that there's a pretty good chance he'll come down with it and get you points. This is the kind of guy who's never afraid to go over the middle and do the dirty work either. Every offense needs that guy, and now the Saints once again have one, and he'll be there presumably for the rest of Brees' career in New Orleans. I guess it's kind of fitting when you think about it that Colston wore number 12 and Thomas wears 13 because he is the perfect player to take over right where Colston left off. He's big, he's crafty, and he is tough. That's why I love watching him play so much, because even though he's not a fast guy, not even remotely close to being a fast guy, he's so competitive with the ball in his hands that he's actually kind of weirdly effective after the catch. Everyone's moving faster than him, but he just doesn't want to go down, and even though he doesn't have long speed, he's surprisingly quick in short areas and changes direction really well for a big guy. So you've got this big, lanky receiver that doesn't shy away from contact, barreling through everyone, eluding tackles, and fighting for every yard that he can get, any way he can get it. I love that competitiveness in him, and it actually got him a few extra touchdowns in the red zone this season simply because he had more fight in him than the DBs trying to tackle him. And on top of that, he's not just good after the catch, but before the catch too. He's very well developed as a route runner already, and maybe part of that comes from getting a few lessons from his uncle, Keyshawn Johnson, but he already has a great understanding of the subtlety that goes with getting open and how he can exploit his size and physicality to his benefit. You look at this catch in the first quarter of the Chiefs game, it's 3rd and 4, he's got a single high bump and run look, and he's running a 10-yard in route underneath that deep safety. If these inside linebackers either blitz or take very shallow zone drops, theoretically he should be wide open over the middle to move the chains if he can get quick separation from the corner. But that's easier said than done against physical coverage when your quarterback is under siege by 6 or more rushers. So after the snap, Thomas releases hard inside, he's riding that corner outside with his shoulder using that 6'3 frame to his advantage, then snaps the route off back inside to get open and make the catch. It's actually easier to see what he does from the other angle, so I'll show you that here. Look at how he's really leaning into that corner, fighting as hard as he can to widen him towards the boundary while still getting downfield. Then once he gets to his landmark, he sinks those hips and sharply breaks inside, knowing that the ball is coming to him. And don't mind the NFL shield kind of plastered all over him, by the way. That's just a watermark from NFL Game Pass. I didn't put that there, but I do recommend you getting Game Pass so that you can look at this play for yourself. But anyway, he's got great extension on the catch, he doesn't let the ball into his body, then tries to get whatever yards he can before being tackled. This catch right here is a perfect example of what Michael Thomas is. He's not fast, but you can win a lot in this league against really good corners if you know how to use your body and the leverage of a route to get separation. If you can use your size and strength to get a corner leaning one way and then break it off the other way, it's very hard for defenders to stop that no matter how athletic they are. Most of the time, they pretty much have to make a choice between being flagged for holding or breaking up the pass, but no matter what, it's a first down. In my opinion, without a linebacker inside of you in a zone to get into that throwing lane, this is honestly one of the hardest routes to defend against in the whole tree. And that difficulty only goes up when you're playing against a receiver that knows the nuances of how to run this route properly, i.e. Michael Thomas. Now, beyond toughness and polish as a route runner, Thomas is a very intelligent receiver as well. He's got a really high football IQ for how young he is, and there was a particular catch against the Panthers in Week 6 that I felt kind of embodied that intelligence and his connection to Drew Brees. He's running a go route here, and Carolina is showing a too-high shell pre-snap, meaning 2 high safeties. It could be man cover 2, it could be cover 4, they could be rolling into a cover 3 robber if they want. It's a very ambiguous look with a lot of possibilities, but because of the alignment of the corner, his first priority will likely be fighting off a jam and then figuring out the post-snap coverage and going from there. If the post-snap coverage changes from the pre-snap look, he will likely have to adjust how he runs his route, especially in this complex Saints system, So being able to identify coverages quickly and be on the same page as his quarterback is an absolute must in order to survive in this offense. That's why his football intelligence is very, very important. I'm going to show this part in the broadcast angle, by the way, because the camera's closer, it's higher definition, and it's easier to see what I'm about to show you. So the ball is snapped, the corner jams him, Thomas swats it away and starts to accelerate upfield in his route. And check this out, you can see for just a split second after that jam, Thomas's eyes go straight to the safety. He's looking to see if that safety is staying where he was pre-snap, or if he's rolling to the middle, or if he's buzzing underneath somewhere as a robber. Where that safety goes tells him almost everything he needs to know about the coverage. After that, he looks back to the corner, Teddy Williams, to see where he went because he doesn't feel him anymore after the jam, which is a telltale sign of zone coverage. If he was still trying to squeeze him into the boundary after that jam, that would be a sign of man coverage. Without that though, it's most likely zone. We'll hop back over to the all-22 angle for this part. So when he looks back, he sees Williams take a zone turn, meaning he's pointing his hips inside and playing zone coverage. And the key read here for Thomas is if Williams is bailing really fast to get deep or not. If Williams is bailing full speed and staying right with Thomas stride for stride, then the coverage is cover 4 and Thomas knows he would not be getting the ball anyway. But if Williams lets Thomas go free downfield because he's sitting in an underneath zone, then it's cover 2 and Thomas knows he is getting the ball because he's pretty much guaranteed to be wide open. After that jam and the eye check on the safety, Thomas sees Williams fall off of him in coverage, meaning he's playing that underneath zone, meaning that it is indeed cover 2. And the Panthers playing cover 2 is a big deal because that changes how the ball is delivered and where it's placed. Once he identifies the coverage, Thomas puts his arm up and he's calling for the ball because he knows he's about to be wide open in the hole, meaning the hole between the safety and the corner in coverage. This hole is one of the main areas where you can attack cover 2 reliably, but that window doesn't usually stay open for long. You gotta recognize the coverage and hit it as quickly as possible. Luckily, he and Brees are on the same page, they both identify cover 2 simultaneously, and the ball is delivered perfectly on time for Thomas to get a big first down with a 28-yard gain. This is a big reason why Thomas was so productive his rookie year. Not only was he great after the catch, not only was he a physical, crafty route runner, but he had a good enough understanding of the game to be mentally in sync with a Hall of Fame quarterback right from day one. That's really, really hard to do for a first-year player. You look at some of the best rookie receiving seasons of all time, and they're mostly from players who were physical freaks that were often able to just out-athlete everybody. Randy Moss, Odell Beckham, Mike Evans, AJ Green, Julio Jones, I mean the list goes on and on. Thomas is not the kind of athlete that those guys are, but he put up historic numbers right alongside them because he understands the game. He knows how to find those soft spots in between zones, he knows how to read coverages, and he knows how to manipulate corners and use leverage to get open. He'll never be the deep threat that Moss was or that Beckham is now, not even close. I mean, the 4.57 40 that he ran at the combine was absolutely his real speed. He's not a vertical threat at all, but he doesn't have to be. He wins in so many other ways that even without world-class speed, he can put up 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns every year without breaking a sweat. He can do work in the red zone, he can convert key third downs, he can set a tone on the field with his physicality. He can be the one thing, that one crucial thing that every great offense and every great quarterback needs the most. Their own Mr. Reliable. Alright, that is all I got for this show. On the screen are all of our new Patreon supporters this week that have made this episode possible. With every passing week, we are inching closer and closer to my goal of being able to turn this channel into a career and doing it permanently. I'm hoping to earn a livable income off this by the time the season starts, and every single week that is beginning to look more and more possible, and I honestly cannot thank you all enough for that. You're an amazing audience, an amazing subscriber base, and I couldn't ask for better people to share this community with, so thank you very, very much. Next week, I've got something special for all of you, and it's an episode on the guy that I've probably gotten the most requests for ever, and that's Bears running back Jordan Howard. Ever since that Ezekiel Elliott episode went live a few weeks ago, I swear 30% of all the comments I get are about Jordan Howard. People are obsessed with this debate about who was the better rookie running back, and at long last, I'm going to take my own dive into that question in the next episode. So that is coming out next Thursday. Be prepared for an absolute war zone in the comments between Cowboys and Bears fans, but I would have it no other way. Until then, later.